So we're going to talk about a formula that we use when we have falling objects. So say you're, on a mountain or a cliff or something, and you're throwing a rock up into the air. The rock's going to go up, and then eventually the rock's going to come back down because of gravity. Okay? So this this path that it's forming, you can see it's kind of quadratic. They're kind of making a parabola, and it is a quadratic function, and it's based on gravity. Okay, in physics. And by the way, this has to do with falling objects near the Earth. Like, like if you're going to shoot a rocket into outer space, once it's out, beyond the atmosphere, it's not going to have the gravity of the Earth pulling on it the same way. So that's other physics. So right now we're just on the Earth. We're throwing rocks or throwing a ball or something like that. Okay. And this is sometimes called a position function, or this is based on the height of the object. Height of object. So why is it an S and not an H? I can't answer that. Sometimes it's sometimes it's an H in some textbooks, but S has to do with um, the position. Okay, and T represents time. How many seconds? Okay, so you're standing on the cliff, you throw the rock up, you count 1001, 1002, and then this function will tell you after 2 seconds how high off the ground that rock is. Okay, so we're talking about the height. So when it's hitting the ground, the height is 0. And when it's up here, that height is the maximum, right? It's a maximum height. And then, you can see, okay, the rock goes up. Sometimes it's at this height, and it's again at that height on its way back down. And then, maybe here you reach out and you catch the rock. You have really long arms, and because it's at the same height as when you threw it up. And then after that, though, then the rock's just going down. Okay. So this formula, it's based on gravity. In -16, that's the gravity part. Okay, that's a constant. Has to do with acceleration. And take more physics, you'll learn all this stuff. It's very interesting. V naught. It's called V naught. V, I think KNOT. Um, but it's a little subscript of 0. Okay, and it's pronounced V naught. And that is the initial velocity of your object. So if it's a rock, you throw the rock up, it starts out at initial velocity, and it's going to start slowing down because of gravity, right? Okay. So like you think about a baseball player hitting a ball, and here's the bat. Anyway, and the ball takes off, and they'll tell you now, like if you're watching baseball on TV, they'll tell you what the velocity is and all they tell you all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that's going to say how far the ball goes and how high it goes and things like that. But V naught is the initial velocity. And then S naught, that is the initial height. So how high, off the ground am I holding that rock before I throw the rock? Maybe the cliff is 300 feet. This is going to be in feet. Okay. Um, so the initial height would be 300 feet. Okay. So that is a formula for falling objects and has to do with the initial velocity and the initial height. Then you can find out certain things by solving the equation. Okay, and in the next example, we'll do a problem.